Hello, what up? It's John, your movie madman, and I'm back. And today is going to be an interesting video, because today I'm talking about another new release. So I've got nothing to hold up, but today we're going to be talking about the brand new 2022 Disney Plus live-action remake of Pinocchio. Right, so Pinocchio, eh? What could I tell you about Pinocchio? Well, I'll give you a bit of history to start with. This must be one of the most remade and reinterpreted Disney films I've ever seen. I'm pretty sure the original Disney story is based on a book, so that might have something to do with it. But what Disney has done with this contract, with this film, I have no idea, because I've never seen so many different versions of the same story. I'm pretty sure I've seen the original Disney cartoon, obviously. I then remember seeing some version of it when I was younger, which was, I think, called The Adventures of Pinocchio, which was basically, you know, just the same as Pinocchio. The weirdest version, I think, is probably the best place to start before I give you my little opinion of the new live-action remake. So they did a really weird version a couple of years back. They tried very hard to keep it in context with the original story, which apparently is a little bit darker than Disney makes it out to be. Obviously, with a film called Pinocchio, the film is set in Italy, and this version of the film is literally in Italy with Italians speaking in Italian to each other. That's not the weird bit. There's nothing wrong with a foreign film and Italians being Italian and everyone talking to each other in Italian. That's absolutely fine. Obviously, they bring it out over here and you're going to get loads of stupid people that aren't very good at reading subtitles along with the film. So they'll dub it. Good idea, right? Dub it. But for some reason with this film, they decided to dub the Italian film into English using Italian people. So they dubbed over the Italian with Italian people speaking in English. Does that make sense? So the Italian dub is in English, but it's Italian people speaking in English. So it's English with an Italian accent. So when you watch that film dubbed, it just looks really weird, because you've got Italian people whose mouths are speaking in Italian, but their voices are speaking in English with an Italian accent. So it literally looks like there's a problem with the sound all the way through the film, because you just think there's sound issues that aren't even there. And that was my interesting experience of it in the cinema. When this film was in the cinema, I'm pretty sure quite a lot of people came out moaning that there was something wrong with the sound, and it wasn't a problem with the sound, it was just a bit of a weird way of dubbing it. That's the first issue with the weird version. The second issue with the weird version is probably the rating. The fact that the weird version of this was rated PG is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't think I've ever seen a film that was meant to be aimed at very small children that would literally have given them nightmares for the rest of their life. The classic moment in Pinocchio when the kids all turn into donkeys, you watch that in the Italian version and all that we did was remind me of American Werewolf in London. And I was just like, have you just taken American Werewolf in London and tried to play it out to children? Because that's not a concept that you should be doing. Like, you don't play out American Werewolf in London to children. It's a bit like when Sam Raimi tried to play out the Evil Dead to kids when he made Doctor Strange 2. So yeah, I thought the Italian version was very, very upsetting. They literally set Pinocchio on fire and hang him from a tree and leave him there overnight. There's a lot of little moments in the Italian version that are just very, very anti-child and not very suitable for children at all. So yeah, I wouldn't suggest showing that to your kids. If you've got kids that like Pinocchio, don't show them the Italian version, because that will fuck them up big time, big time. But moving on to more family friendly and child friendly versions. So Disney released their live action remake officially of Pinocchio. That came onto Disney Plus last week. This is the version that's starring Tom Hanks as Geppetto and Joseph Gordon-Levitt providing the voice for Jiminy Cricket, as well as all those other little people that they managed to sneak in there as well. So if people aren't aware, this film has been received really badly. I'm pretty sure the score is around 5 on IMDb, which is really bad for a new released film, specifically a new released film by Disney. It has a really bad score on Rotten Tomatoes as well, and a lot of this I didn't know about any of this until after I'd seen the film, and to be fair, it really surprised me, because I don't really understand why anyone would have a problem with this interpretation of the film. It's basically the same as the cartoon, like all the live action remakes of Disney films. They're all basically the same as the cartoon, with a few little extra details. No one had a problem with Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast, the live action version of Beauty and the Beast was made really well. The live action version of The Jungle Book was made really well. To some extent, even the live action version of The Lion King was made really well, with the possible exception of watching a ball of fluff floating around for 5 minutes. So I don't really understand why anyone would turn around from watching Pinocchio and say that that was crap, because they haven't done anything differently to what they would have done. Maybe that's what the problem is. Maybe people have just watched it and said, well, this is just exactly the same as the cartoon. You've done this exactly the same way as all the others. Maybe that is what people's problem with it is that Disney is just doing everything in the same way. It might be, I don't know. Maybe you should ask some of these people that gave it bad reviews. I'm not giving it a bad review because I thought it was fine. It made me laugh in ways that I wasn't expecting it to make me laugh. Tom Hanks as Geppetto was a very good choice, I think. I mean, I'm not 100% certain Tom Hanks can sing, but maybe that's why he spoke most of his lyrics. Maybe that's what people have a problem with. I don't know why people have a problem with it. I'm just telling you why I don't have a problem with it. Alright, and then you can watch it and work it out for yourself. 4K wise, this is a big part for you actually. Now, what with this being on Disney Plus, you get the option to watch it in 4K. You can also watch it with Dolby Vision. So if you've got a new TV like I have that has Dolby Vision of it, you get a chance for that as well. And I am starting to notice more and more that the more things you watch in Dolby Vision actually look better than films without Dolby Vision. So they're obviously doing something right there, especially when it comes to the brightness of the picture. Dolby Vision definitely increases that brightness. Only by a small fraction, but it's definitely still an increase. So yeah, I mean, there are lots of colours in Pinocchio, the live action remake. Obviously Pinocchio's CGI, the cricket's CGI, the fairy's CGI. There are a few, there's a lot of CGI in there. So a lot of people might turn around and say it's not really a live action remake because it's all CGI, but you could say the same about The Jungle Book and The Lion King. So, but yeah, the colours looked absolutely beautiful. When the film needed to be a little bit darker, the picture was a little bit darker. When it was outside, it was bright. What else do you look for? I don't have anything to compare it to, so I can't say that it looks better than the Blu-ray. Go get an upgrade because it's not out on Blu-ray. You can only see it on Disney Plus. But I mean, if you haven't got a 4K TV, you're not going to be seeing it in 4K. So maybe I'll go around someone's house that doesn't have 4K and watch it in 1080p, and then watch it again, and then I might be like, oh look, watch it in 4K because it's better. Although I could probably tell you that anyway. If you have read reviews for the new Pinocchio and you think, oh, they said that sounds really bad, so I'm probably just going to avoid that, I'd just say give it a watch. It's free at the end of the day if you're watching it on Disney Plus. The only thing you're paying for is that subscription. So I'd say watch it. Just spend an afternoon. Watch it with your kids if you have them. If you don't watch it with someone else's kids because that would be a bit weird. I've seen plenty of other live action Disney remakes that were worse than that. I mean, the live action Disney remake of Aladdin which they should have probably just called Jasmine, because the film was more about her than it was about him. Like, why did you need to do that? That was pointless. Like, I didn't have a problem with Will Smith being blue. But yeah, for a Disney remake, I thought Pinocchio was fine, so up to you really. Watch it yourself, make an opinion for yourself, because that's probably the best way to go about that. That'll be all for today. I think I'm going to go. If you could like this and subscribe to the channel, that'd be brilliant. And I'll be back again soon with another video. Goodbye.